We have a quorum present. Welcome to everybody this morning. I ask that you stand for our opening prayer and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Heavenly Father, we're thankful for the many blessings that you've bestowed on us. I ask that you watch over us and we continue to serve you. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Be seated, please. Anybody signed to?
No, sir.
No one is signed to be heard. Item 6 on the agenda, discuss, approve, disapprove, recycle facility burn construction issue and necessary legal documents to allow for repairs to damaged fencing on adjacent property that belongs to Milicio Dotlo at 207 East Riddleville Road, Karnes City, Texas. Office was James Rosales. James, you want?
Yes, sir, Judge. Court, we were digging the pit out there. Remember, we had trouble finding a place for that pit. So when we found one, I talked to David and the engineer, asked him where we could dig that pit. He said, find a good area, and we found one by the fence line. Well, we dug it far enough from the fence line, but with the berm that we were piling behind there to protect the fence line, we pushed over dirt and we pushed over the fence line. The fence line, it's only a couple of T-posts on some wires so we can put it back up. Problem is that we have to get on his property to pull the dirt back out of there. It's probably about 2 or 3 feet over on some areas only. I talked to Melesio and he told me just go ahead and do it. He didn't have a problem with it. But I didn't want to do it that way, so I went with the county attorney's office and got a grant of temporary easement for 60 days. We have it written up. And the reason it's 60 days, it's probably not going to take that long, but we never know with the weather here. If we take down the fence line and we start pushing it over, if it rains, the dozer, we've been having trouble with it. If it breaks down, we may have to wait for parts. So I gave us enough time more than enough time to be able to do that. What I want to do is I want to get that fence down, and we have a fencing contractor giving us a bid right now. I've checked my email. I haven't gotten it yet, or he hasn't handed it personally to me either, but I called him this morning and he didn't answer. He was probably busy, so I didn't get a hold of him this morning either. And Melecio's not going to show up today because I called him last week and he has, I believe it's a doctor's appointment in Seguin, so he's not going to be here. But what I want to do is go in there, get the fence removed, go push the dirt back on our property, get the pit dug out, do the berm with the fence down where we can work around it, do a nice berm. Once we're done, come back and let the fence contractor put the fence back up. The price that he verbally gave me when I took him out there was $900. But I told him to get it written down that I couldn't bring it to y'all verbally like that. But I haven't gotten it yet, but it's in the process. I'm sure he got it, he's just been busy. And I think that's the problem with the pit. We dug it so close to the fence to begin with was because we're limited to space there that we can actually dig that there's not existing trash. So when I back it up away from the fence line and we start digging the pit, I got to back it up at least 12 feet and then I got to back it up another 12 feet to put the berm. Then I got to dig the pit. We may end up back in trash. If we do that, then I'm going to have to come back to court and find out what else we can do. But that's why we were limited to space. That's why we're so close to the fence to begin with. If there's any questions, I'll answer.
You have enough money in your budget to handle the fence, okay, James?
Probably out of the dumpster. We can relocate something in there. We may run short at the end of the year with the dumpsters, but I can move it around right now.
We can come up with money somewhere.
Yes, Judge.
We need to get that taken care of. I appreciate you taking care of it.
And I talked to Melesio, and he wasn't mad at all. He's not upset. He was laughing. He said, I understand things happen. I apologize to him. Went to his house. He went to the office, and he's not upset at all.
Well, good.
And he said I told him that because we're going to be on a loader, that we may damage his ground a little bit. But we'll go back into it with a bobcat, and we'll feather it out. We'll smooth it all out. He said it was fine. We'll fix it up.
And you're going to oversee it for us?
I will oversee it for you. I'll be on my face.
Okay.
Not a problem at all.
All right, let us know how everything goes.
Okay, guys, so on the grant of temporary easement, do I have y'all's permission to go out there and take it to him for him to sign it? Do I have y'all's permission to sign the,
Did her prepared it?
her prepared it, Carrie prepared it, they got it, Carrie sitting there, I asked her if she could show up here in case there was any questions for her too.
I haven't had a chance to read it yet. I was here this morning. I had to run back home, but I don't know of any reason. We'll read it before we sign it. And, make sure it's all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
And
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Judge. Also, when the fencing contractor comes in, may I accept that bid and sign off on that bid of $900 to get the fence done?
I would say it's okay. Maybe we need a motion from the court.
I think you would to, probably to just approve everything.
I think so. So I could legally have that permission to go and get this done, the grant of temporary easement, and also the fence, hire the fence contractor.
I would move that we grant James the authority to do those things that he's outlined.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
And this to be filed with the county.
Sure.
Yes.
Any other comments or discussions? All in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. All voted for, the motion carried. The numbering is off
Yes.
on these, and what's number 10 should be 7, and the other,
Mary noticed that a while ago.
the other two on that page are 8 and 9, and on the next page it goes from the 13 is changed to 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and there's another mistake right there, but 20 is 16, 21 is 17, and 22 is 18.
Must be new math.
It's, and I'm not up on you math, I'm 80 years old, and unfortunately, my math is all old. So, with that explanation, item 7 on the agenda, discuss, approve, disapprove, policy committee recommendations for review, revision, development of the Karnes County policies, including employee orientation, annual refresher training, accident incident reporting, safety meetings, drug and alcohol policy, use of county equipment, training of all employees and supervisors on county policies and procedures. Shelby, you're the author of that. You want to?
Yes, as the court representative for the policy committee, we met the other day and reviewing the county policies. We've identified some areas that need to be tweaked or need more explanation, more thorough direction for anybody interpreting these policies. The main one for sure is the drug and alcohol policy. We want to make sure it specifies that the supervisors are all trained in recognizing the signs of alcohol and potential problems that they may see within their workforce. We met with Marianne Science Thompson, the TAC representative of the day. She looked at it. She presented Friday, as a matter of fact. She was passing through and she stopped. And she said she agreed that most county policies are very vague. There's a lot of leeway in there, and so she is going to send us some copies of sample plans that she would recommend that we maybe really look into. So what I'm asking the court is to do is to inform y'all that we're going to be looking at these items the judge has read out, and that we will try to come back to the court and be seeking the approval of the court for a better, more clear, defined policy that protects the county as well as protects the employees.
Okay, we'll be doing that through our office here, and we'll have copies of everything that's going to be proposed, and it'll all be available and open to the public anytime anybody wants to look at it, and we'll bring it back before the court when we get the new stuff to look at and go over it good and get it to every member of the court so you'll have an opportunity to look at it. We've got some really messed up policies, I think, that need attention badly. And we're going to keep doing that. And Shelby, I'm going to ask you to kind of chair it and oversee it and keep us moving on the thing. And whatever you need, come to me and I'll present it to the court if we need to. But we'll do whatever we need to do to take care of it.
I just want the court to understand this is what we'll be looking at, and then if y'all have any input you wish to put into it at the very, once we get it finalized, please let us know.
And this is really important, so all of the court needs to be up to date on it, and I'll get you copies of everything as soon as they come in for each court member.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8 was yours also, Shelby. Discuss, approve, disapprove participating in TAC risk management pool risk control reimbursement program that could link to the implementation of revised county policies discussed above, and that's just a continuation and what we're going to be doing.
That's
The
correct.
same things that we're talking about in item 7.
I have Robert Ruiz today. He's here with the TAC risk management pool, and he's also can give us a little brief update on what this implementation of a county of this reimbursement program is about. Robert.
Morning, Judge. Morning, Commissioners.
Thank you for being here today.
Yes, sir, absolutely. And actually got
Thank you, sir.
a brochure on the risk control reimbursement program. Thank you, sir. Would you like me to see it?
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I don't have any more, but I can get you more photos if you like. The details of the program are available online at county.org. This program is brand new as of February 2016. And what it is it's meant to help our members continue to enhance their safety programs in their counties, to keep their employees safe, to keep their fixed assets safe, to minimize the impact of any potential claims. Because obviously, the more claims you have, that leads into your loss experience, which then can affect your pricing on your coverage program that you have in place. So what we developed this year is a reimbursement program. It is completely voluntary, and it is open to our members that participate in the pool through various coverage lines. For Karnes County, we do carry all lines of coverage, and there's 2 buckets, if you will, 2 programs. One of them is geared, it's called the risk management program, and then there's a separate bucket specifically for law enforcement. So Karnes County, again, because of what you participate in with the pool, you did qualify for funds in both buckets. Officially, to qualify for risk management projects, you have to have auto liability, workers' compensation, public officials, and property coverage. And that's exactly what Karnes County has. For law enforcement, obviously you'd have to have our law enforcement coverage, which you do. Now, the amounts that Karnes County qualified for the risk management project, you qualified for $19,214. Under law enforcement, you qualified for $8,131. Okay. What's in your packet there is the application. You can fill out one application for the safety projects that Karnes County chooses to identify. It does ask for some specifics on what is the project, what are you looking to do with those dollars, and how will it impact positively Karnes County? How will it keep your employees safe or your premises, your building safe? So we are looking for detail in requesting these dollars. The deadline to submit your application is going to be July 1st. After that, the projects will be reviewed by a committee at TAC, and then on August 1st, we will be communicating to our members which projects or project they submitted qualified and the dollars that they qualified for that were awarded. So I do want to stress that this is like a competitive type grant program. The funds that I just mentioned, $19,214 and $8,131, are not guaranteed. It's what you qualify for because of your participation, but you will be competing with other Texas counties who are submitting projects. So the long and short of it is, if you choose to participate, I would urge you to identify those programs that you can clearly define, provide sufficient information, and really give us a good description on how it's going to positively impact your safety program or programs here at Karnes County. That being said, there's also a bit of timing to this. You don't want to undertake or make the expenditure on a program until you've been notified that your award, that your project has been accepted. Okay? For example, if you had something that you did at the beginning of the year, or you were undertaking a safety project right now, I'll give you an example. You were buying safety shoes and vests for, let's say, road and bridge. Let's say you were going to make that expenditure right now, anytime before August 1st, and you submitted that would not be a qualifiable project because it's done before you were notified. Okay, so there is a timing to this. After August 1st, if Karnes County chooses to submit the projects and you are notified, then there's also a reimbursement form that you see in that pamphlet there. You will be required to submit your receipts by December 1st, and then the reimbursement check or checks would be cut to Karnes County January 1 of 2017. Okay. The types of projects, if you're looking for ideas, if you flip to the back page of that pamphlet, the outside of the folder, the back of the folder, you'll see a list of sample projects. So on the risk management side, I talked about safety vests, goggles, safety shoes. Those are some examples. Defibrillator systems. On the law enforcement side, you're looking at body-worn cameras, bulletproof vests. Those are just some ideas on possible projects. We would tell you, don't be limited by what's listed there. If there's something specific to Karnes County and need that you all identify, please feel free to put it on the application. Give us the detailed information and submit it. And the last thing that I'll leave you with is, this is a best come, best served type of project that's going to be looked at and awarded.
Is this only for actual purchases, Robert, or is it like if we had training, the cost of that training?
Yes, if you needed specialized training for someone, that's actually one of the examples on there, that would qualify, yes. And so you'd want to give information on why this training is going to help Karnes County. We're going to send someone to go get specialized training that will help the county prevent X or do this. Yes, sir.
Would you be the contact for advice when we call the next platform?
You can direct any questions to me, yes, sir. Absolutely, I can help clarify anything on the application. I'd be happy to, if you want to kind of bounce ideas as to what do you think about this, I'd be happy to in any way I can. Yes, sir. Any other questions?
And under law enforcement, what's safety restraining chairs?
Safety restraining chairs in the jail, when they bring in, when they take in somebody and they need to restrain them, it's a special chair that kind of straps them down.
It's like a cart that pushes them around.
Right.
It's like we're going to get for you.
Make sure that it has a really good cushion.
It's not very comfortable.
And then the last thing that I'll say is that to be eligible, you've got to be a member at the time of application, at the time of approval, and at the time of reimbursement. So if any member were to leave before reimbursement is made, let's say they chose to leave and workers' comp went somewhere else, the funds that you qualify for would be reduced. So there's also a little bit of timing in there as well.
Any other questions, comments from anybody? Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
You gonna be around after lunch?
Yes, sir.
Good. Okay, item 9 on the agenda, which is the last item on the first page, not 12. Discuss, approve, disapprove status of request to Road and Bridge for all oil company contributions made for road improvements, and Shelby, that was yours. I'm not exactly sure what you want.
Well,
Who requested you?
I do. We've been, by statute, when we do work on a county road, if it is donated, we're supposed to report the amount of yardage or amount of materials and the location where they are donating to, as well as the amount. I've got some information just to report to the court, but I have yet to find a dollar amount. First one I have is with Sprint Energy.
Who?
Sprint Energy. They donated up to 5,000 cubic yards. I say cubic yards, it says CY, of limestone road base material to reconstruct 1 mile of County Road 153. And 153 is located just off of Highway 72 West. They did 1 mile, and it ended just past the Sprint Energy location. And then the county came back in and mixed in cement with Portland and stabilized it, and then ended up being one of the roads that they paved. But again, there was not. It just says here that Sprint furnished 2 inches of limestone, 8 to 12 inches of cover, 27 feet road width, and approximately 4/10 of a mile from state right of way going south, maintain 24-foot road width, and the remainder of 1 mile. But again, it doesn't provide the amount that they donated, just the material. I contacted Conoco. ConocoPhillips provided me an amount. They spent $65,338 on roads. The roads that they did some work on was County Road 345, County Road 302, 347, and 295. And I've got contact numbers for somebody there to let me know.
What was the amount again?
$65,338. Encana did some work on County Road 359. They built it up with 8 to 12 inches of 2-inch limestone material. Now they worked on from 359 from State Highway 119 right away to the terminus of County Road 359, and performing the agreed labor. They did Karnes County did all the preparation, but they provided the subgrade material, and they turned around and Encana had a supplier of a company called Desert Mountain, and they provided a polymer for a dust control solution on County Road 359. But again, I have no amount on how much they spent. So I'm still working on getting those. But at least we've identified those roads that were done. Dale, by the way, it's Dale Stein, our new county road engineer.
Yeah, I know you had, is that on? I know you all had mentioned this before, that there were items that had been donated. I met with Mike this morning, and he showed me the agreement for the Sprint, but I don't recall a value in that document. I think, like you were saying, it's just a quantity. But I will get with Alma here in the office, see what documentation we have on these 3 particularly that you had mentioned, and check to see what else they have received materials from suppliers or contractors, companies, whatever, and donations to the county on these roadways. Personally, my experience from Frio is that the only time the county would accept donations from individuals for work on the roadways. We would have an agreement specifying what the materials were, the dollar value, where they were coming from, and where they were being used. And that agreement would be presented to the court, would be approved, and then the work would be presented. And I think that meets all the legal requirements necessary, and it also educates and informs you all as to what's going on in the roadways and what's being done. And so this is only one of many items that I will have to get up to speed on here in the next several weeks. And I believe we have, is the regular commissioners meeting on the 8th?
Yes, sir.
I'll see if I can have at least on these three, I will definitely have a presentation for you on the 8th on these three, and if we have any others, then I will include those in that report.
Thank you, Dale. If you need any help in any way from my office, let me know. I'll help any way I can. I'll be happy to talk to anybody that needs talking to, or be ugly to them, or be nice to them. That's hard for my nature, but I'll do my very best, if I can help.
Yeah, and Mike was saying that he has been bringing some of those things in to you for signature and working with Mary on. So we'll find out where the documentation is, and we'll come up with a process that we can all work with.
All right, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Glad to have you. If there's anybody here that doesn't know Dale, he's our new road and bridge supervisor, and I think it's going to be a really good person to have working for Karnes County. And we appreciate his being here. And if you have any road problems, and you can talk with me about them, and probably won't get satisfaction like you want, but maybe Dale will be nicer than I am sometimes. And he's knowledgeable and looking forward to a good relationship with him. Okay, we're on item 10, is that right?
Yes, Judge.
Item 10, which is numbered, I think, 13 on the deal, is discuss, approve, disapprove current process for maintaining MSDS for county departments. Shelby, I don't even know what MSD is.
Material safety data sheet, but Judge, go ahead and pull that one off till we get the safety program, then we'll go ahead and come up with a better idea for that, if you don't mind.
Item 11 on the agenda, discuss process for appointment of election administrator after acceptance of resignation of the election commission chair. And I put this on here, our present administrator has submitted her resignation. And I believe it was at the end of this month. I don't have it.
28th, yes, sir.
That's nearly the end of this month.
March
Today.
20, March
March
20.
20th. Yeah, I'm sorry, March 20th.
I'm sorry. So we will need to deal with that. I think, James, will you head up for the court, the process on the doing that and look into it? I don't know how it's been handled in the past, and you probably do.
Sure.
So, do you mind if you will look into it?
No, not at all.
And I'll help whatever you need from this office.
Sure. Not a problem.
So, and we'll put it on the agenda maybe for the next meeting.
Okay, I'll take care of it.
If we're ready.
Judge,
Yes.
the statute puts in place the process for hiring or appointing a new administrator, and it's done through the county elections committee, which you're a part of.
Okay, well, we need a copy of that for each court member if we can get it some way.
Sure, absolutely. You want that right now or in a few minutes
Well,
afterwards?
no, just when we get through. If you make them or make them here in the office,
Sure.
and we'll get them to the court.
Who is on the elections committee?
The elections committee is made up of the county judge, the county clerk, the tax assessor, and the two party chair people. And so we met last week on the 22nd to accept the resignation of Karen, which we did, and we placed an ad in the paper to accept applications. And I think we put I think it's on the website as well, and we put the end date as this Wednesday so that we can set up interviews possibly for Friday or Monday
With the committee.
with the elections committee, correct?
They did rework for you, James.
There
You're
it
done.
is. And then after that, you'll just bring it to the commissioner's court.
Yeah.
Good.
Have there been any
Applicants?
applications?
Yes, sir. I think there's about 4 that we've received so far.
Oh, that's good.
Good, all right.
Yes.
When the deadline, if you will holler at me,
Yes, sir.
we'll get together.
Yes, sir. I sure will.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about that?
There's 5 on the committee, right, on that one?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, item 12 on the agenda, discuss, approve, disapprove either an out-of-cycle payment or make an exception to the account's payment schedule and approve payments at the March 8th, which is our regular first meeting in March, Commissioners Court regularly scheduled meeting for election workers working the March 1st, 2016 joint primary election. If this exception is not made, the election workers' payments would not be approved until the March 31st Commissioners Court meeting. It is unreasonable to expect election workers to wait a month to be paid. And Karen Opiella submitted that. I generally think that we need to pay as soon as we can after the election. And this is something that needs attention and doesn't need to wait. It's comes up, I think, every time there's an election. I think there's been discussion of it before. And as far as I know, this hasn't been resolved in this way. If anybody has any better suggestion of how it could be handled, please get in touch with me or with any of the court. And we will continue working on this.
Judge, I would suggest if we're going to do something different, that we do an out-of-cycle authorization to pay the election workers on a cycle just by themselves, due to the fact that you would be holding up the preparation of the regular bill cycle if we had to insert all the election workers after March 1st. And there have been multiple times that we have not had all information on all workers, that we've had to wait to get social security numbers or addresses, etc. So I would prefer that the court authorize an out-of-cycle payment specific to elections.
Who furnishes the information that we need to do this?
We get it
That's my
from
job, sir.
Karen.
And
I,
how are you going to do it before
Well,
you leave?
oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
On the very first election that I ran, obviously there were some issues because, you know, I was just learning and maybe even the second one. But since then, I've had those sheets ready to go and completely filled out by the next day, the day after the election, and usually by noon even of that day, because they're important to me, you know, to get those in and done correctly. So I take responsibility for getting them done correctly with all of the social security numbers on them, and there hasn't been any of those types of delays lately. You know, like I said, I won't say that about my first election or two, because now what we do is in the evenings when they check in, we even check the sheets and make sure everything's there before we even let them go. Before we let the judges go, we make sure everything is correct and chase them down for signatures or whatever we need to do.
Is the election process going okay?
It is. It's
Of course,
going.
the election's tomorrow. I hope it is.
It's going awesome, actually. We have had record numbers of voters from early voting. So a total of 956 people have already voted either by mail or in person. So we've got awesome numbers. We're happy about that. But and we did finally find staff for our 15. We still need 1 or 2 clerks that we're still hoping to find. But if we don't find them, those people are just going to be busy, but they'll have people there. So we're still trying to do that.
Okay, we really appreciate everything you've done
Thank
on this. You've done a good job. I'm not sure if everybody understands how much work's involved in this, but
Right.
there's a lot.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
Karen, does the, not does, but do the parties still pay the workers for the primary, or does the county pay those?
The way that it's been handled, because the county adds that $2 or $3 additional dollars, I can't remember if the state gives us back 8 or 7, I'm sorry. But we still pay 10. The county pays, and then I just invoice the parties for everything, and they
Okay.
just pay it all back.
So they don't write the checks
They
to
do
the
not.
workers any
No, sir.
longer?
No,
Okay.
sir. Yeah. And this does come up just about every election. It's just, the timing of elections is just off of our normal cycles for payments. And there's been times they've had to wait a month and a half for payments, and most of them are understanding, but there are a few of them that are working because they just need the extra money, and I hate making them wait, and it gets harder and harder to replace them when things like that are occurring.
So we would phrase this as a special out-of-cycle payment
Correct.
for election workers? Is that the way it should be said,
Yes.
placed?
Please.
I would move that the court would allow a special out-of-cycle payment for election workers on an as-needed basis following elections.
I'll second it.
And to approve the payments at the
And
March
to approve,
8th.
right.
And
And that would include the current the election for tomorrow,
okay.
effective
And there's
today.
a Motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Is that from here on out or just for this one election?
Well, the way David's
I would say
motion was,
from
it's
here on out, so we don't have to address this every
he said
time.
as needed.
Yeah, let's not have to
Do it
chew this
here,
bite
yeah.
again.
Exactly.
My second stands with that too.
Okay.
From here on.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same side, motion carried unanimously.
And we may not need that next line then. I just had put in there that.
Discuss, approve, disapprove, appropriate timeline, and any exceptions to that. We'll see if this takes care of it, it should.
Okay.
All right, thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate all your service. I'm sorry you're leaving us.
Thank you.
We
You've
want
done a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, that moves us to item 14, tax collector's January 2016 report.
I gave that to you all a while ago. M&O for January, current month's collections, $5,902,411.65. Current year-to-date, $10,341,912.57 for a collection rate of 52.19%. On the delinquent month to date, please note that it is a negative collection because of a big refund. Neighbors drilling, there was a double assessment on the 14 taxes, and so we had to process, it was assessed under neighbors drilling and also neighbors finance, so they had to do a refund. So that shows a negative collection in delinquent taxes of $13,241.59. Year-to-date, a positive $34,352.35 for a collection rate of 15.73%. INS for the month of January, $453,123.63. Year-to-date, $794,299.18 for a collection rate of 52.21%. Again, delinquent month of January is a negative $1,170.04. Year-to-date is a positive $3,372.42 for a collection rate of 16.55%. Road and Bridge for January, current collections, $826,630.71. Year-to-date, $1,448,626.53 for a collection rate of 52.2%. Delinquent road and bridge for January, again a negative $1,958.84. Year-to-date, positive $5,796.45 for a collection rate on delinquents of 16.01%. Rural fire, January current collections, $300,576.73. Year-to-date, $527,618.37 for a collection rate of 52.24%. Delinquent rural fire for January, a negative $607.76. Delinquent year-to-date, $2,496.59 for a collection rate of 15.14%.
The collection rate, is it running about where, or
It's
there?
a little behind. I was going to get an exact number and I didn't do it, but it's a little behind.
But we're, Masimento's about right.
We're doing okay.
I was gonna ask, isn't it behind with normal year?
A little, yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah.
I thought it was normally about 75%.
I don't have the exact number in front of me. I should have brought that up. I apologize, but it's a little behind. It's slower.
Any other question? Comment? Thank you. County clerk's January report.
For the month of January, we collected a total of $54,678.51.
Does that compare with anything else
No,
last year?
it's probably slightly less than last year.
I assume it varies every year, but it's not the same.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if there's any drastic change in that any month, then we might not ordinarily hear about it. Please be sure and report it to us.
Yes, sir.
I assume you do, but my assumptions are not always correct. Item 16 on the agenda, discuss action regarding the treasurer's report.
I gave it at the beginning of the month.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I gave it at the first meeting of the month.
Is it still the same?
Yes, sir.
For what period of time?
For January.
Has there been additional collections since then?
No, sir, I did not put this on the agenda.
I put it on the agenda and I'm asking that, and it's been on the agenda. You're not reporting it. Is that what you're saying?
I reported my January report.
I understand what you said and what you did, and I'm asking you if there've been any further collections that would be reportable under this.
No, sir.
And we're gonna keep asking for it. Item 17, payment of bills.
Different you want?
Different than Friday?
Yes, sir. Official. Scribble.
This is 29.
Yes, sir. I will let y'all know that, David, particularly the change from Fridays, when you picked it up, Dale came in this morning to review the invoicing or the pay apps for County Road 211. And there were some questions that he had as far as change orders and whether they had been approved. And Shara contacted Naismith, and their response was, Dale, that they do change orders at the end of the project. And so those particular question costs were pulled, and so that's what changed this.
Okay.
If you will turn to page 12.
Wait. Dale, is that not the way you've been doing it, where you've been?
Well,
I'm not sure I'm asking the right question,
No, I think you're getting to the point. A change order is a change in the contract. Now, the issue here is that there were, originally in the contract, they called for two 48-inch head walls, concrete head walls for a 48-inch pipe. They also called for 4 head walls on 42-inch pipe. Well, when they got out on the ground, they found out that there was an error in the plans. There were actually 2 48-inch pipe, not 42-inch pipe. Therefore, there should have been 4 head walls on the 48-inch pipe. Well, of course, 6-inch difference in size, there's more cost in the head walls. So what they did is underran the 42 and overran the 48 for a difference in cost of around $900. But you should have the opportunity to say, yes, we want that change, or no, we don't, prior to the work actually being done. So, yes, change orders are typically done prior to work or payment of any change in the work. And so this is some of the areas that I will be looking at in the contracts, and this is I think just some of the difficulties in working with a consulting engineer and the clients and the contractors and all. It gets complicated and difficult. Sometimes you got to make these decisions immediately and move forward. Other times you don't necessarily have to. So that's some of the issues that we'll be working on there with these contracts at Road and Bridge.
all right, thank you.
You will turn to page 10, point out some items of interest. About 2/3 of the way down, under contingency fund, a payment of $20,292. That is payable to Foster Construction Company. That is the way station expenses that the court approved last meeting for the work done in 2012 and 2013 fiscal years. 6th item from the bottom is court-appointed attorneys for district court, $3,013.75. 4th item from the bottom, $10,295.87. That's juvenile detention costs.
Robert, where are we?
We're still stuck in deadline, so
Okay.
the court's moving forward. They're trying to get it resolved.
2nd item from the bottom, $400. That's county court-appointed attorneys. The last item, $5,000, is 2 autopsies.
They're $2,500.
Yes.
A dead person.
2 of them. Page 11.
Did the JP order
Yes.
the autopsy?
Yes.
They have to be done.
One was the lady that was killed in the accident, and I didn't recognize the other one.
I don't know. I'm guessing the other one is an out-of-county resident, Frisbee.
Would sound like.
Okay, we're on page 11. The payment this cycle on the EMS facility, $18,530.64. Building renovations, $1,239.83.
What the building?
I believe those are at the kitchen at,
Right, that was Home Depot expenses for
Right.
the home economics department
right,
and
the
over at
Agri
the
at 115 North Market.
Junior Riddles building.
The next item on the courthouse restoration, $5,619.10. And in this cycle for the jail facility, bless you, $17,875.34. 6 items from the bottom, prisoner detention from the sheriff's department, $7,132. On page 12, The second item, $28,916.10, was equipping 3 Tahoes.
Say that again, please, I'm sorry.
$28,916.10.
That was what?
Equipping 3 Tahoes, you
Yes.
said?
Equipping 3 Tahoes.
Equipping them, that's
Equipping the
lights and
lights, the
decals,
signage.
okay.
The next large item, $5,125.50. That's our quarterly payment to Camino Real for our budgetary contributions. Midway down the page for road materials this cycle, $771,108.44. 2 items below that, payments to contractors on various county roads, $120,205. $413,020.83 in this cycle for Senate Bill 1747 roads. On County Road 211, the adjusted expenditure this cycle, $1,670,889.64. For a total this cycle, $3,216,058.84.
Questions? Well, first of all, what, and you probably can't answer this, but maybe Dale or Mike can. What percentage or what level are we in completing 211? Is it half done, 3/4 done?
They are paving as we speak. They're getting ready to shoot they got the prime on there. All they're doing right now is putting their first zip.
So we're 80, 90%
I'd
complete.
say about 80%.
Yeah, that's what was on the estimate this morning for January that I was looking at was either 80 or 85%. I forget right now which one it was, so that'd be pretty close.
Okay, let me pick my way through here. A lot of the stuff was answered. The only thing I keep looking at again is that, and this is picky on a small amount, but the amount of electricity used in the JP office in Runge. Let's see, that's juvenile. How far are we finished? Does anyone have an idea how far we are from being finished paying Mrs. Daly on the EMS building? I noticed we had a fee on there this time. Are we about done, Shelby? Do you have any idea?
We should be about through. They have to finish the fencing and wait on the generator other than that.
Okay.
Landscaping also.
Landscaping, but we're trying to minimize that.
In the radio control station in Capitol Outlaws, that's a switch over to y'all's from the jail. It says S&P Communications Radio. I'm sorry, I'm on page 3. I'm just going through one page at a time.
That's the EMS control station of their radios.
Oh, their radios, okay.
Yes.
Okay. Jail.
I don't know where it is. I noticed that utilities are quite high, $2,400 on one bill.
I noticed the same thing.
I don't remember where they are here, but I know they seem pretty high. I know it's winter time.
How long, and we've had moderate weather, I mean, it hasn't been huge air conditioning or heating bills, but when is the contract up with Direct Energy,
I think
Luana?
it ends May of 17.
Another year plus going.
Right. Because we are contracted for utilities through TASB, Texas Association of School Boards, who utilizes Direct Energy as the vendor.
I remember you telling us that. I just didn't remember how long it was. How many inmates do we have out now, Robert, and being boarded out? How many inmates do we have being boarded out in other jails, more or less?
It's very few, Commissioner. Most of them are out here. Geo, I think that $7,000 bill, did that go to Geo for?
No, it went to Live Oak County.
Live Oak County.
Or Live Oak? We
And
have
Wilson County.
one individual who's involved in that murder there, and several others that are housed there, but everybody else is here at Geo.
I knew you were utilizing that. I just noticed that.
Yes.
Robert, the particular ones we're paying is Live Oak County and Wilson.
We have to house females there, Commissioner.
How long is it going to be before we'll have access to our jail to where we can we can quit paying others for holding prison.
As you were told Thursday in the jail meeting, we're just waiting for 2 items to come in. The city will issue a certificate of occupancy, and if the jail inspection passes here within the next several weeks, we'll start moving over, and hopefully we can get it occupied pretty quick.
The other thing I noticed on here is, I remember, I think I missed that session, but I believe the court authorized a fairly substantial purchase of culvert materials, and I see we're still getting culvert materials. Was this not the correct size for what you needed?
What page?
We're on page 7, Mayfield Pipe and Lumber, about 2/3 of the way down. There's several items under there.
We are still installing culverts that are rotten.
Okay.
We're replacing.
I didn't understand, say again.
I said, we're still replacing the culverts that are bad.
Well,
That's what the culvert material is.
Well, I understand that, but I know there was a fairly substantial authorization. What I guess I'm asking is, were the materials you bought with that $50,000 not, I mean, that didn't, or is this part of that $50,000 that was authorized?
No, this comes out of our general material, our line item.
And David, you'll notice that that last payment to Mayfield is described as pipe Rungy Yard.
Yeah, I did see that. I sure did.
Those were not allocated on the invoice towards any particular county roads. They were just inventoried at Rungy.
Well, the other thing I noticed was, and you brought it up, was a substantial amount of contractor payments. I would hope that we could get to a point where those could be considerably less than they are now, but that's just a comment, so.
Well, I did have concerns on all the contractors that were paying this cycle, and I did email Mike and Alma on Friday asking if those were any bid items, because on one contractor in particular on this cycle, we're paying over $70,000.
Yeah. We need to, well, Dale is aware we need to take a look at these things, so. Anyway.
Have you got a response from your email?
No, I have not. Alma was by the office Friday afternoon, I don't know, picking up paychecks possibly or something, but she told me she had received it and she would hopefully have the answers to me today.
Maybe next time we could make a deal, paychecks for work. You might mention that the court mentioned that, or that the judge did, the court did.
Okay.
Shut up, thank you.
Any other questions or comments from the
Could
court?
I ask a question about the $17,000 payment on
Sure.
the jail? What was that, do you have a specific what that goes toward?
I do not have it with this. We do have the pay
Breakdown.
application in the office.
Probably, and I'm speculating, is that it is a monthly fee that's being accumulated and stacked to be dealt with out of the residual whenever the contractor's paid, we hope. Move we pay the bills.
Excuse me, any other discussion? All in favor of paying the bills, signify by raising your right hand. All opposed, same sign. Motion carried unanimously. Motion to adjourn.
I'll make it.
Second.
All in favor of a motion to adjourn, would say signify by adjourning and leaving.
Amen.